All right, so I wanted to go over the pages that you have to do for Go Math today and just give you some instruction on the same concept that you did the 4 pages on yesterday, which is lines, rays, and angles. So your assignment is to do this page 553, and also page 554. Just like yesterday, you do not have to print. I I don't feel it's necessary to print, but if you feel that you want to print this, or if it's okay with your parents if you print these pages out, then feel free. They are in the same document, so you just have to scroll through till you get to the 5th page in that PDF that's below this assignment in order to get to page 553 and 554. Take a picture of both pages and turn them in when they're done. But let's just go over a little bit of this up here. So you're going to draw and label an example of the figure. Here they gave you the example. They drew one for you. An obtuse angle labeled or named ABC. So an obtuse angle is greater than a right angle, anything bigger than 90 degrees, and the middle letter B always stands for the vertex. Whatever that middle letter is should always be the vertex of your angle. Here's one other thing I wanted to point out. So angles, we talked about lines yesterday in the PowerPoint video that I did. Lines have arrows on each end, right? Because they continue in both direction. Angles have to have arrows on each end of the arrow because these are actually rays, 2 different rays. So there's a ray here, BC, okay, ray BC, and ray BA make up angle ABC. So as a ray, it has to have an arrow on each end, and then of course the other end stops. It has a stopping point, doesn't continue on, and that's the vertex. That's where those 2 rays meet, where they come together. That's the vertex, and each other side needs to have an arrow on it because it is a ray. Okay, here they're asking you to draw a ray. See that little symbol up above? That's a ray, ray GH. So you draw it in this white space down below, and it would be a line. It should be straight. Of course, mine's not straight because I'm writing it on the computer, and it's very tricky to keep it straight. And an arrow on one side, and then one end has the point G, and the other end has the point H. Okay? The side with the arrow on it is where that letter point should be. So make sure that when you make your ray, the side that has the arrow over in the little symbol up here, okay, the arrow is on this side under the H. So your point H should be over here where the arrow was. If the arrow was over the G, then you would put your arrow on this other end of the ray that you drew. An acute angle, JKL. So acute, we know, means it's a little cute angle. It's so cute and little. It's smaller than 90 degrees. So you can draw any ray, I should say, excuse me, any 2 rays that meet together, and rays have to have arrows on the ends like I just talked about, and you might have point J up here. You have point K at the vertex because K is in the middle of the letters right here, JKL. That means K has to be the vertex, and then L is over here, okay? Over here, you're drawing a line segment. So you pay attention to what this little symbol up here above the letters is, and that tells you what kind of geometrical thing that you're drawing. Line, rays, or angles in this case, right? See the title up here? That's giving you a clue as to what 3 things they're going to be asking you about on this page. Lines, rays, and angles are the only three things that they're gonna have you worry about. When you name a line segment here, you use this same symbol and you put two letters that show a line segment. Okay, one option would be line segment E, F. Okay, CH is not a line segment. CH would be a line because you see how the points continue on. Okay, so it's not a line segment if the straight path continues. Here is a symbol, little square, that means right angle. So there's a right angle for you. Okay, let's move on. As I can make this smaller, I can move on. All right, so down below, you're using this figure, this picture right here to answer these three questions, 7, 8, and 9. I'm gonna let you try and puzzle those out. Look back at the PDFs or the pages that you did yesterday, because on page 550, I think it is. 550 and 549. So you had the definition of all of these different terms and exactly what they mean, okay? You on 550, you have these different kinds of angles, exactly what they mean. So if you forget what some of those terms, what they're asking you for, go back and look at the PDF and look at the page 549 and 550 to help you figure that out. Okay, down here, number 10, they're asking you to draw and label a figure that has at least 4 points. I think Lisa was working on this page yesterday, and she asked me if it could have more than 4 points. It can have more than 4 points, but it needs to have at least 4 points, 2 rays, and 1 right angle. I would challenge you to try and make a figure that's kind of like this one, or like this one. That's what they mean by a figure. It's like one of these pictures here. Okay, you had a bunch on the last couple pages that you were looking at. So think about those drawings that they have there. That's a figure. Okay, and I would challenge you to do one that has only 4 points, 2 rays, and 1 right angle. Okay, just because I want to see if you can do that. But if you need to do more than 4 points, if that's the only way you can figure it out, go for it. All right, here you have the hands of a clock that show the time of 12:25. You're going to tell me what kind of angle that is. Use letters and symbols to name the figure below. So just like you were doing on the last page, on page 553, you were naming this figure by the letters, the 2 points that are on this figure, and then drawing the symbol for that figure above it, because that's how you name a figure in geometry. Okay, these 4 problems are all review, spiral review, right? See that right there? That's the clue to help you know that these are review problems. They're not going to be about lines, rays, and angles anymore. They're going to be about other things that we've learned about over the course of this school year. Okay, here it tells you that Jan's pencil is 8 5/10 centimeter long, and Ted's pencil is longer. You just have to give me a decimal number that is bigger than 8 5/10. So there's an infinite number of possibilities. Okay, a decimal, I would like a decimal, not just a whole number. A decimal number that's bigger or longer than 8 5/10. You're subtracting to find the difference between these two right here. I'll let you figure that out. We just did decimals. I think you can figure out number 5 on your own. Number 6. You're subtracting between these two fraction or mixed numbers here. But in order to subtract, there's 2 things you have to do. If it's a mixed number, you have to make it into an improper fraction, a fraction that's more than 1. Let me remind you how to do that if you've forgotten. So to get a fraction that's more than 1 from a mixed number is like you have 8 1/3. Okay, so you take the 3 here, that's your denominator, and you multiply it by the 8. 8 times 3 is 24, and then you add the top number, the numerator, and that becomes your new numerator. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 more is 25. So that's the first step that you have to do. That becomes your new numerator over your same denominator. The second step that you have to do before you can subtract mixed numbers or fractions is to make sure that the denominators are the same. You don't have to worry about that step here because, as you can see from these two mixed numbers here, they are both thirds. So once you convert this mixed number to an improper fraction, just like I did for you here with 8 1/3, then you can subtract because the denominators are already going to be the same. You don't subtract the denominators, right? The denominator carries over into your answer, and you just subtract your numerators in order to answer that question. So that is your math assignment for today. Please message us if you have any problems. Mrs. Bergwell and I will be available to help you as you go through that today. We have 4 Zoom meetings set up, and if you are confused on any of these 2 pages with Go Math, please come to one of those 4 Zoom meetings. All of the links can be found in your email, on your calendar, as well as in the religion and specials class stream from this morning. Okay, so have a great day. Bye.